One of the number one questions we get asked here all the time at Focus Online Marketing is, I hear you have to be doing social media, but I just don't have the time, I just don't have the staff, I just don't have the resources. Yet I hear all these social media experts all the time telling me you have to be on social media. But Patrick, I don't have the time to be on social media. But you have to be on social media because I went to a conference and an expert told me you had to be on social media, so I have to be on social media. I have to be on Google+, I have to be on Twitter, I have to be on Facebook, I have to be on Instagram, I have to be on Foursquare. Do you ever hear that? Do you ever feel that way, that after you go to listen to another social media expert, there's yet someplace else you have to be online, yet you don't have the time for it? Well, that's our topic in this week's 3 and 5 with Patrick Almond. Hi my friends, welcome to another weekly 3 and 5 session with Patrick Almond, where we give you 3 marketing tips in 5 minutes. My name is Patrick Almond. I run a website called OwnYourEmpire.com, which is a branch of Focus Digital Marketing at allaboutfocus.com. And I love doing these sessions and talking to people about some different ways online and offline that they can improve their marketing. This week we're going to be talking about 3 ways that you can be on social media without necessarily being on social media all the time. And again, I remind you, this is one of the number 1 requests we get here at OwnYourEmpire.com. People are frantic about being on social media, yet they're smart, they're doing time management, and they don't have the time for it. So here are your 3 tips. Got your note-taking materials ready? Here we go. The number 1 tip I'm going to give you, or the first tip, I'm going to give you about being on social media is see if you can pre-schedule your updates. This is very popular. I see experts doing it all the time, and I've even started adopting it myself. Because one of the things you hear about social media is you have to be authentic, and you have to join the conversation, and you have to be online all the time, and don't pre-schedule stuff, and don't do this, and don't do that. Well, that is BS in my opinion. Your job as a business owner is not to sit there on Twitter all day long, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or on YouTube. Your job as a business owner is to profit and make money for your ventures and for your employees. So you don't have time, and you don't have to do all that BS about sitting on social media all day long. Pre-schedule that stuff. Sit down on the weekends or on a Friday or on a Friday evening or a Monday morning and find a tool like Hootsuite or TweetDeck or Edgar or one of many other tools. Sprout Social is another popular one where you can pre-plan that stuff out. And if you do that also, you're not spontaneously having to think of things to say. You can batch up that stuff and get it all done at once. So that's my first tip for you, is pre-schedule that stuff. Don't listen to an expert that says, oh, you can't pre-schedule because it's inauthentic. You know what? BS. It's marketing and advertising, and all marketing and advertising, all great marketing and advertising are pre-planned and pre-scheduled. You don't see too many live TV commercials, do you? Well, that's what social media is if you're a business. It's a little miniature TV commercial, and those things are pre-scheduled all the time. So that's your number 1 tip. My number 2 tip for you would be to outsource it so you are not personally doing it. If you're a small business, consider either offshoring it or finding somebody who can inexpensively do it for you part-time, so you are not the one doing it as the business owner or as a major officer in the business. If you're a major office in the business, sir, or you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or even a smaller business, you could be less than 20 employees, that's not your job. Your job is not to sit on social media all day long. Give that to somebody else whose job is more focused on the marketing and the advertising part of things, so you can do your job again, which is go out and close sales and make a profit for the business. Your job should not be to sit on social media all day long. So that's my tip number 2 for you, is to find a way to outsource that, to give that to somebody else. So it is not your primary job function. And again, you're going to make sure that's in line with all of the marketing and advertising and the marketing calendar for the business, but you yourself should not be sitting on there yourselves. If you do go that route, I would highly suggest also that you check in on your accounts every now and then. Be sure that the person that's doing the updates is speaking authentically in the correct company voice. And the third tip, which is probably my most favorite tip of all 3, is to narrow down what social media channels that you're working on. There are a lot. Let's just say a lot. I could say easily probably 100, but there are a plethora of social media channels for you to be spending your time on. Right off the top of my head, and this is no planning at all, I'm going to go with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Foursquare, YouTube, MySpace, Google Plus, a variety of other social media channels where you can be spending your time on. And every single time you go to a social media conference or you listen to another social media speaker talk about social media, you hear of another one and you think you have to be on that one again. And then you get in the whole confusion of, do you post updates on this one or updates on that one? No, you know what? Screw all that. Take your focus down to one or two key social media channels. Look for the ones where you can have the most impact on and you can have the most reach on, and also the ones where you can have the most paid value on if you choose to go the paid route. For example, the two that I highly suggest are the ones where you're watching this video right now: YouTube, because it's your own personal TV station, and Facebook. If the world ended, or the social media world was going to end, and I had to pick two social media channels, that would be the two right there. It would be YouTube, to publish all my videos and even host podcasts, and to Facebook, which has the largest reach. Plus, on Facebook, on the paid side, I have great ideas and great opportunities for further advertising, digging deeper into my demographic group. I can focus my marketing inside of my groups. I can focus my marketing inside of my fan pages. And so those are the first two that I would pick. After that, you can kind of trickle down to Twitter and Facebook and the Foursquare and all the other ones. But right now, you go where the volume is. You go where you have the biggest impact. And those are the two that I would recommend right there. So that's your third tip right there, is to narrow down the number of social media channels that you spend your time on. So again, a quick recap of our three tips. Number one was to pre-schedule that stuff, and please get on that. Number two was to find an assistant or a virtual assistant who will schedule that stuff for you. And number three was to narrow down your social media channels that you spend time on. And again, I highly suggest you focus on YouTube and on Facebook. Those are your three tips. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please share it around. We've got this and more tips on my YouTube channel and on the website at ownyourempire.com. Until next week when I have a chance to chat with you, thanks for watching 3 and 5 Marketing Tips with Patrick Almond.